Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex. This is Big Baby Reviews. Today's Tuesday. It is JAE LEE Day, so we're looking at the Savage Namor. Issue number 36, cover dated March 1993. We've only got a few issues left of Namor, and JAE LEE is then off to Image Comics. So let's soak them up while we got them. Just some weird cropping on the cover here, I gotta say, because I don't know who came up with this. There's clearly some fudging that happened around here. Right? But the fact that her hair overlaps the subtitle down here that says The Submariner, but then only part of her bangs cover up the top and then the rest of her head is behind the Namor thing. Again, whoever came up with this kind of did a crappy job, I'll be honest. Another pretty cool designy JAE LEE cover, nothing super complicated about it. Definitely eye-catching, right? Some girls kind of got Namor at their mercy here. Namor, to me, kind of looking almost, I don't know why, but I'm getting like a Jeff Hardy vibe from the WWE or WWF when he was back in it, back in the day. Or at least originally, when the Hardy Boys were there. That's all I'm going to say, because most of the cool stuff is on the inside. So let's have a look right away. Boom, that first page there. We are into Image Comics JAE LEE by now, right? We're hitting that pinnacle of this period, I think. And you'll definitely see, I think, the Geiger influence on this character specifically and in this issue, and I'll point it out. Still doing all that cool stuff with the splatter. These red eyes, even though this has been colored, obviously, was probably done with white medium, right? If you saw the original pages, and just the stark kind of minimalist aspect of the colors where it's very gray overall, white, black and white, basically with some gray. And then boom, the red just kind of makes it kind of creepy and surreal and really works with the image. I think I've said it before, but I prefer whoever's coloring now is really with this issue, I think, gotten a real good handle on how to color JAE LEE. Flat colors, right? Not a lot of modulation. And I think this stuff looks 100% better with his art than the computer coloring at Image, right? What a great double page splash here. I mean, honestly, I don't know what else to say, but that it's awesome. We've talked about before how he does that kind of silhouette background of characters. You know, you get a few of them at the top, you can see their eyes in the black spaces, and boom, you're moving on. But it's very evocative of those little demon creatures we've been seeing past few issues. Just the overall, again, elegant but dirty aesthetic that he's gotten this time is just great. Like this character here, just love everything about it. The coloring, the red in this character's garb, the kind of complicated headdress, right? Like it's like JAE LEE's twisted version of like Strife or a Strife-like character, right? But it's definitely feels better. Definitely closer to Dungeons and Dragons than anything Rob Liefeld would do. I mean, you got a bunch of beheadings here, so that's pretty awesome for a kid's comic, all right? This whole page, man, again, just the level of dirt and grit that he's willing to go to. The amazing silhouette, and then he just throws some splatter on top. I think that's great. The original pages must be awesome. Like they almost look like paintings. Again, here we've got the, again, I would say fairly obvious Geiger influence, which works just super well with his long, elegant ladies that he draws. You know, he's using a lot of the same tricks throughout, but that's what keeps the aesthetic consistent, right? These kind of emanating lines and the splatter and everything. And then sometimes he just pulls back, right? Because that's not the atmosphere anymore. And he's creating a different atmosphere here where he uses, surprisingly, a very clear, clean style overall. It's just thick shadows, right? Slightly Mike Mignola-ish. I love how this whole page is framed by her hair, right? And the contour up here. I got to say about the pages, I noticed on the double page splash, I didn't say anything, but it seems like we're reverting back to, you know, I've talked about this where I think JAE LEE is drawing for full bleed pages, right? And they're being printed onto non-full bleed pages, and that's why we're getting this border here, which is some sort of compromise somewhere. Last issue, I think it was last issue that I reviewed, or one of the past issues, it seemed like that had been corrected and we were getting full bleed, but it's like we've gone back now. So maybe, you know, they tried it, it worked, and then someone at the plant just forgot that that was now a normal, regular thing. You know how it is when you got to call one guy and then the next guy and then the manager and etc. Something gets lost in translation, you know, communication is not 100% perfect. So maybe it's one of those situations. We'll find out with next issue, issue 37, if they still have that problem. I hope not, because that's kind of like I don't know why they made it kind of an anniversary special issue. You know, it's got a interesting foil cover and blah, blah, blah. And there's a lot of hype about it back in the day, I remember. And I mean, what anniversary is issue 37? It's the most randomest of issues to have an anniversary issue. Anyways, I guess we'll find out next week. Storytelling, again, very clear. One thing I noticed about JAE LEE, he would do, this might seem like an odd detail, but if you draw, you'll know what I mean. He does the high nipple, right? Generally, when men are very muscular, the nipple slowly kind of just moves lower in a weird way, you know, because the muscle gets, I guess the skin gets stretched out a little bit by the muscle, and muscular men tend to have the nipple go lower and lower and eventually kind of droop a little bit sometimes when they get older. But the way he draws it, it's like sometimes you could almost be thinking that Namor's got tits, right? And he doesn't. He's very muscular, but this could almost look like a man boob. Or moobs, right? That's the actual term. And then there's shots where I'm like, he just kind of went a little too crazy there on the savage look for Namor. And there's something a little bit off about the 3/4 view with JAE LEE. Sometimes he's got it, sometimes he doesn't. This is one example where he doesn't. But again, not too much criticizing because overall, he's doing an awesome job. So again, when you're doing sequential art, comic book pages over and over, drawing a lot of stuff, you know, if 1 or 2 bad drawings in the whole comic kind of slip through, it's not the end of the world. Love the layout here. The interesting kind of shapes and designs that he's kind of using and trying out here. This great, almost fully shaded in depiction of a skull, Skeletor-ish kind of character. Looks awesome. He's always good with the ladies, right? Very evocative, very symmetrical. He's doing kind of a very Stanley Kubrick kind of vibe here. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed seeing these pages not at full bleed. Like, I can imagine what they would look like. The art would be a little bit bigger too, so that would be awesome as well. Yeah, it does. Like, look at the lettering, right? And it feels like any other comic that would be, you know, printed at the proper format and everything. The lettering would be just a little bit bigger. So I'm thinking this was shrunk down. There's an interesting design as well, but, you know, I'd like to see more of that. It's a little too shaded in here where we don't see that character again. Then we get a kind of quick, very expressive shot of Namor here, really angry. See, I think this kind of stuff works. Those harsh shadows, but then you can see he's done some quick hatch lines, some rough lines down here. Very, very expressive. Looks awesome. Punching one of these Geiger ladies. And that's basically it for this issue. And they don't end with a to be continued or anything like that. So it's kind of an abrupt end, kind of weird. And then at the end, we throw in kind of, I guess, a run through of the main players and the characters in here. All great kind of, you know, card-like images, I guess I would say. You know, if there had been a Namor card set, this kind of images you would see on there. I mean, there's already, maybe in JAE LEE's case, there's like a classical kind of influence to the posture and the posing. Again, it's almost like painterly composition. It's you know, old school classical paintings, but in modern comic book terms. Oh, look very good. Tiger Shark looks awesome here. And I would say just probably a quickly dashed out image here. Not that it's bad or anything, but I mean, I do feel that was done really quickly. Let's hit that deadline. Still a pretty cool image. There you go, guys. That was a short but sweet review of Namor issue number 36. If you're subscribed and you're still watching, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support and for you still being there, checking out the videos. If you're watching but you're not subscribed, please do so below. It only takes but a second for you to help us out and help the channel grow and get out there to other people who are into comics just like we are. So everyone out there, thank you so much once again for watching. Have an awesome day.
Like, subscribe, like, subscribe.
King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KINGCOMICS.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.